We're just getting the GTC in place so I can build some exhaust tips for it. So it's got like some super crazy aftermarket high horsepower turbo kit installation done on it, and it just needs some tips to finish it off. So the boys are all done with the body work, the Black Series kit, and I'm about to finish this thing off, and then it's done. Got a bunch of Vibrant Performance tight radius mandrel bends. These are all 3-inch stainless, and I have a series of 4 acro tips. These are the tips that we're going to be using for the GTC, and it's kind of a unique, very, very tight little space. So I have to get pretty creative with my bends. I'll give you an idea. This goes like so, like so. They're offset by a solid 1.5 inches. And this 190 I'm going to split into 2 45s. It's going to 45 a little straight, and then that's going to 45 into here, and that'll get coped into here. So it's a really, really tight little situation right in here. Right here where this factory setup right here was coped. This is where it starts to change direction, and then comes out over and out right through here. These guys would be living right up in here. We just finished making a very basic template for this piece right here. It's a fairly complicated little transition from the 3-inch inlet here to dual 3s out, but it also has like elevation change, and you can see in their offset. So now I can work on getting that to fit perfectly once that's all said and done, and then I'll get this to fit on there so that this merge is perfectly, like it'll flow really nice. And I got to fit this unit into this space. So I got roughly 7 inches right there. So we're going to chop up this perfectly beautiful Mercedes GTC exhaust tip. Got my one side tip final fabricated. I'm going to work on getting the V-bands in place, then I'll get into final welding. We're going to back purge this like you should, so it looks really nice on the inside, and then we'll make the second one. So I'll be able to use this as a template. It's a pretty much identical mirror image side to side. If necessary, I'll... Wow. The evil Evo.
Yeah.
Me plotting out in 2 dimension the dimensions that this thing needed to be, so that gets me this, where that is, where that is, and where that is. Okay, so I can take that information. X marks the side where the tube is. This line is right here, and I know that X marks the side the tube is. The elevation changes change the dimension of what this piece of straight section is right here. So this guy right here, I have to cut into 2 45s, and that's what makes this little transition right here. That's a 90, that's a 90. There's a 45 and a 45. So I can take the information that I got from this. I know what this length is, I know what this length is, and I'll make a template for these copes. And that's all I need to know. I'll just take all that, translate it directly to here. It's flipped over mirror image, and that's it. Just using the tape as like a marker. A marker, so.
Nice. Maintains the curve.
That made my center line orientation marks. Put that on there, right? And because we did our masking tape in opposing directions.
That's so cool. You can mirror it. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, all I need to do Man. Shell. We're gonna start the welding process. Got my back purge flowing in it right now. We should be fully purged inside. We're reinstalling the exhaust system for the GTC. I had to completely remove it so that I could do the welds for the V-bands for the tips that we made. So this whole system only has a flange right here at the bottom of the downpipes, and it's fully welded all the way right through to the tips. So I put flanges in at the tips to make that whole process a lot simpler, but in order to get up, to the top side, I needed to remove the whole system and weld it. So
we're going to start installing the kit.
Final install?
Final installation. Wheel liners, we're going to do all like the wheel liners and stuff like that. So we're just going to get as far as we can right now until I got to paint the grill, but I got to wait till we get the mesh to put the grill in the mesh because it's going to be a bit of work.
Just detailing some of these hinges and all these crevasses while the fender's off and it's accessible. So if you open the door, you look in, just glance in, it's all fresh and new. So. We had to re-clear all the carbon on this kit. We had to just block it out and then re-clear it. Like the factory finish that this kit had was just not good. A lot of factory imperfections in the weave and stuff like that, weird pinholes and stuff like that we just had to use some resin to dab in and fill. So that's why we're just going over everything, especially like this front splitter. This is visible. This is like when you look down on the front bumper, it's that finished piece, right? So we had to make that nice and straight. Like you saw any of the factory stuff from before, it was just super wavy, not very nicely finished.
So I am cutting this honeycomb mesh for all the fender vents.
So this is what came with the kit?
That's what came with the kit. It's just your traditional, really flimsy, really cheap
chicken wire
looking mesh. This is the it's like a more modern honeycomb style.
Yeah,
it's like
so much nicer.
Looks like more of an OEM type of look. It's a lot more durable. It's more structural. Just looks a lot nicer than this stuff. Once I'm gonna cut it all out, shape everything to fit those spots, and then I can sandblast them, and then I'm gonna paint them.
Yeah.
So that's like the whole process of making this type of stuff is so time consuming, but it's like the little details that make it look that much better at the end.
Yeah.
Man, that looks good.
Brett and I are just starting the final install on all this, and that's basically going to lead us to putting the bumpers back on, finalize the exhaust install, and then the car is going to be on the ground, done, getting close.
No longer janky.
It's no longer janky.
No, it's glorious.
But it takes a lot to de-jankify. Look at that. Had the tips installed, obviously. Can't wait to fire it up. Get this car out on the road. No, there's nothing else to do to the car other than just finish final assembly. So Spencer was he was polishing the hood. We gotta get the rear wheels on, and that's it.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's the first cold start with these new exhaust tips, though.
Oh. Dang, that sounds good.
I love it. This is a great car.
Hello.